What's up guys, and welcome to today's video where I want to talk about how much time you actually need to run a successful dropshipping business. So how much time it takes until you hit something that is a success. I felt like the one of the most common reasons why people fail and get demotivated and stop pursuing the business is because they had entirely wrong expectations in terms of how long it takes to get successful. And I got a lot of messages from people that are saying things like, I've been trying this for 2 weeks now, I've been trying this for 3 weeks now. And whenever I get into these Facebook groups, people are complaining that after spending like $100 in 2 weeks, they still don't have the sales that they thought they would get. And I feel like you, first of all, need to get the right expectation before you can pursue this business in a serious way. Because there are so many gurus and videos and everything out there that proclaim that it's super easy and quick, that you can get the wrong expectation and then you won't pursue it in the right way. So the first thing that you need to understand, the most important thing is how long it takes before you get successful depends on how much money you have. So in general, the higher your budget, the bigger your budget, the quicker you can expect results. Why is this the case? Well, it's pretty simple. If you have a lot of money, you can test more products, you can add more products in general, you may be able to afford some VA, you may be able to add certain plugins that make your life easier, and all this together basically gives you the opportunity to make sales quicker. So it's easier to make sales quicker if you have a budget of like $10,000 compared to $500. On the other hand, then of course, if you don't have that large budget, let's say you only have $1,000 for everything, so for advertising, for your store, for everything, in that case, of course, you need to spend more time on the business because you can invest time and you can invest money, but of course you need to invest at least one of those. And this is the case with the majority of people that are complaining. They usually have small budgets, they have limited budgets, but they still expect some miracles within their budgets. So let's say your budget is $500 or $1,000 in total. It means that you're probably running ad campaigns for $5 or $10 a day, right? Because you want to have the opportunity to review your ads all the time and to check and optimize versus just starting with $50, which will give you results quicker, but you're also running on a higher risk because you cannot make changes all the time because after one day, $50 are gone basically. So this is super important, and I would say that you need to try at least for probably 3 months is what I would say before you can expect certain results realistically. And I don't, making the first sale is not something that I will call a result. If people come to me and they are like, hey, I'm at 3 sales now, I can, I can teach you, or hey, I'm at 5 sales, does anyone need help? This is, to be honest, this is not a point where you can help others, and this is not really a point where you had any sort of success, because 5 sales, 3 sales, even 10 sales can mean that you just, you hit one little, you were a little bit lucky, there was a one-hit wonder, you had a product that sold a few times. But when I say, sticking to this until you're successful, this means to me at least that you had a higher figure income, and especially that you had an income on an ongoing basis. So saying that I will pursue it until I'm successful means until you have, let's say, sales for 2 or 3 months in a row, or at least a very high amount of sales in a certain month. So this being said, if you are questioning whether you are doing the right thing because you didn't make good amount of sales after 1 month, definitely stick to it, and even consider things like free traffic sources. I have a full video on free traffic sources, so in case you ran out of budget but you still think that you have some potential, think about working with organic traffic, think about posting on Instagram, think about SEO. And also, if you think that you were onto something, you probably had some sales already, or you just have a very promising store but you don't have the budget, I don't know, do some freelance work, if you have a job at the same time, use that money that you earn there so that you can reinvest. I'm not saying that you should pour everything you have into this business, but if you feel like you were onto something and you were getting, you were seeing some results, but now you ran out of budget, think about whether you can freelance for other stores or freelance for other people so that you can put parts of the money you earn back into the business and see where you would get if you would continue it this way. But the main thing here is to be realistic. Like whether you decide to quit after 2 months or 4 months or 6 months, doesn't really matter. Like if you found that this is nothing for you or whatever, this is totally fine. But if you go in the business with the expectation of I have to succeed in 2 weeks because this is what all the gurus tell me. This will almost guarantee that you will fail because you approach this whole thing in the wrong way, and you will get demotivated all the time and things like that. So if you truly want to be successful, set yourself a realistic time horizon. Like I said, 3 months is a minimum. Of course, there are always those one-hit wonders, people that make sales immediately, but this is definitely not normal. And the more time you give it, the more you work on this, the more you grow, the easier and the more realistic it is that you will actually hit a point where you are getting to the sales that you wanted. And of course, trainings and consulting, mentoring, and all these kinds of things can kickstart the process. And I'm not saying that they don't work in any way. Of course, I have my own training program, but you don't need this to be successful. So it is helpful if you have the budget, if you want to cut a little bit of time, if you want to get the results a little bit quicker. But if you run on like a $500 budget, don't invest like $400 of it into a training program so that you can only invest $100 in your budget. I have to be honest here. I have, like I said, my own training program. Of course, I want people to buy it, but I have to be realistic here. If you cannot really afford it, and if you are left with pretty much nothing after you buy it, then rather invest it in the business and learn about the things yourself, and do all these things yourself and figure them out while you go. If not, if you have the budget, if you can afford that, then a training program can be a good decision because you don't need that much time. You can avoid a lot of failures. You can avoid losing a lot of money, but as I said, it depends on the individual case. So if you like this general type of video right here, I just wanted to give you an overview on this whole business. If you like this video, please leave a like and please subscribe to this channel, because I will also, of course, post other straightforward, detailed tips and strategies on how you can actually succeed in e-commerce. But I hope that this was a good overview so that you are not thinking that you are a failure just because you don't hit that $10,000 in sales in your first month. This being said, guys, I really hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I will hopefully see you in the next video. Bye bye.